Hi everyone, it's Alicia at Verdium, and today I'm joined by Chris. Chris is one of our developers here. Chris, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So in this video, Chris and I are going to be discussing responsive web apps and how we can develop these for you here at Verdium. So Chris, my first question is just simply, what is a responsive web app?
Well, a responsive web app, there's actually two things in there. One is responsive. Responsive refers to a design principle. That means we develop applications for all devices. So that means if you're looking at a website on your phone and you want to go see the same website on a laptop or a desktop computer or a handheld gaming system or a refrigerator, the website or app that we make should look good across all those devices. So that's a design principle that we use for our applications. But a web app is kind of like a mobile app that you might download from a store. But the difference is a web app, you can access it from any device if you have the link to it. You don't have to download anything to get to the web app. Mobile apps we also offer, and Ryan will have a video on that too, but they're almost the same thing. It's just that an application might be, or a web app might be a plugin, or it could be an entire application with logins and admin access and panels and reporting and all that stuff. But it's all just on one website as opposed to something you download from a store.
Okay, wonderful. So why might someone decide that they want to get a web app? And then also, lead that right into what it looks like at Verdium, what our process looks like.
Sure. We've built a lot of different types of web apps. Usually for a business, they might solve things like reducing pen and paper records. So if you want to house all of your data online, we've built a lot of applications that solve that sort of pain point that people tend to have as they grow their business. It also adds flexibility and convenience to an office workflow. You don't have to be rifling through records when someone calls in. You're able to share files or data securely through transfers or things like that, data repositories. And it also allows customers to access their records online. They don't have to call in. They could call in, but you could also use the same system for those customers. It helps to keep track of employee data, things like records for employees, where they're supposed to go, what their jobs are supposed to be, things like that. We've also developed e-commerce solutions. So if you need to start a new web store, especially in times like this, that really helps keep the business flowing. Or if you're thinking of a totally unique service that you might want to offer your customers based on what your business does, we've done that too. We might have some examples of that later in this video, probably.
So my next question for you, Chris, is what does this process look like at Verdium? If someone comes to us and they want to develop a web app, walk us through step by step.
So the process that we use at Verdium starts with discovery. We like to talk about exactly what you might need for your application, and that also includes information about your business. What kind of things do you make? What services do you offer? And then from there, we can determine what kind of application you might need and how we can build that for you. And that leads into the next step, which is wireframing. And then also kind of talks about design as well. That's basically where we lay a foundation for usability and user experience to make sure that we've covered all the angles that you need to cover with your application. And then after that is the dirty work, all the development. What we'd like to do is set up what's called sprint meetings, which happens every few weeks, or however often we may need to do it on your schedule. Usually it's about 2 weeks. We like to just set up a meeting with you to make sure that we're on the right track and so that you can get feedback on the development of your app as we're building it. So if we need to change direction on something, or if we need to improve something early in the process, we nail it earlier than later on when it's almost all done. After that comes testing, which you get to be testing the app as it's being developed. And then after that's all tested, we get a final approval and it goes live, which is what happens during the launch process. So during the launch, we do things like updating your domain settings if we need to. We'll test it once it's live. And there's also a break fix period in case something goes wrong or something happens to break and we didn't notice it before. There's a cover period for that as well. We also offer hosting for your web apps. It could be on ours, or we can set it up with a different provider that you already use if you already have a hosting for a different website. So we are with you from the beginning to the end and even further than that.
Yeah, absolutely. You actually took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say that we're really there for you the whole time. Someone's there. We're involving you in the process, which is really important. So you know what's going on with your web app. So the last thing that I kind of just want to see here, we have some examples of some web apps that we've created for One Nation Slow Pitch. So I know you've actually had a lot of hands-on work with these, and I just kind of want you to show them off.
Sure. So what you're seeing there is the event search. One Nation is a client of a lot of different sport leagues. They have a lot of community involvement, and they needed a way to wrangle all the people together and to organize the events that they had across the nation. And actually, they're expanding into different countries now as well. So they needed a very simple, easy to use interface to parse a lot of data at once. So this screen shows we had unique data like event name, start date range, the type of event it was, where it might be, the class of the event or the teams that might be invited, and also director name. And this was all developed over a year of in-depth work with the client to achieve what they wanted. And all that data was very custom to them. We wouldn't have a customer before that asking for specifically those things. So we worked really in depth with that client to achieve this.
Okay. And then also, we're looking at another thing that was a part of that project, and that is the new member registration. So that was a separate web app. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So the registration for them was the crux of the whole thing. As I said, they needed a way to manage all of their members at once. So that starts with who are you and what kind of account are you? So a player account and a manager account, or a player manager account or umpire, they all had very different roles in the application and in their organization. So depending on what they chose, a different form might show, they get certain permissions, their registration costs X amount more or less depending on what the use might be. And it got pretty in depth, but we made it easy to use for the client, again, across all devices. And I think we really hit the mark with them on that one. They seem to be enjoying it too.
Good. Yeah, you're right. They always seem very happy when I talk to them. So that's really awesome. Thank you so much for kind of walking us through a couple examples of web apps that we've created for our clients in the past. And if it sounds like something that you're interested in finding out more about, you're ready to jump into that sort of development on your own project, you can go ahead and get in contact with us. You can give us a call, or you can visit us online at vertium.com to find out more about everything we offer. We're really looking forward to talking to you soon. Thanks again, Chris.
Thank you.